Who wants to be the next to discover how to stop drinking without willpower? Visit stopdrinkingexpert.com and grab your free place on today's coaching session.
Hi there, this is Craig Beck from stopdrinkingexpert.com. Welcome into today's episode, and I want to talk about going sober and telling people about it. How do you come out of the sobriety closet and tell your friends and your family that you don't drink anymore? And that might sound like a nothing problem. Why would that even be a problem? These are people who love and care about you. Surely they want what you want. They want what's best for you. Oh, you naive fool. Well, they do, kind of. But don't forget that we are a selfish species and we're pretty much living this life through our own lens. We're experiencing this world from our own unique point of view. And everything we experience has to relate back to how it affects us. That's just the nature of life. And so you'll find that everyone who's your friend will help you, but only to the point where it benefits them. They won't help you to do something that doesn't benefit them, whether they're conscious of that or not. If you want to do something that is detrimental to their situation, they'll try and talk you out of it. Even if they firmly, consciously believe they're trying to talk you out of it because they believe it will be better for you. So what happens when you stop drinking? Well, at boot camp, I tell people to be prepared because you may get a negative response to your action from your friends and family. And you may be shocked at just how aggressively negative it can be. And it changes from situation to situation. You know, some friends will wish you well and that will be the end of it. Other friends will wish you well initially and say, hey, good for you, wish I could do that. But secretly they don't think you can do it, so they're not too worried about it. They expect you to be back in the drinking fold pretty soon. And then you'll get other friends who are downright hostile to you and your decision to quit drinking. They'll say things to you like, well, you're going to be boring from now on then. Oh, well, there's not much point you hanging out with us now if you're going to be Mr. Dull sitting over there in the corner with a Coca-Cola. And they'll say things like, they can get really extreme. You know, when I quit drinking and I told my drinking friends that you've got to remember I had a reputation of being a very heavy drinker. And I saw that as a badge of honor. You know, I wore that with pride. I thought I was the sort of man who could handle his beer. And that's how I was known. You know, I was a very sociable, very heavy drinker. So when I said to my drinking friends, I've quit drinking, they really, really tried to derail me. They told me that I wouldn't be the same. I'll change. I'll be boring. I'll be dull. Nobody will want to hang out with me. They even said I must have become gay. Now, don't even get me started on how giving up a drug can change your sexuality. And honestly, it's got nothing to do with that. It's clutching at straws. It's just trying to find anything to use as a crowbar to get leverage on this person to get them back into their drinking ways. So why would people who care about you want to get you back doing the thing that made you miserable? And the answer is, it's got nothing to do with you. You see, most people who have a problem with alcohol, whether they think about it a lot or just fleetingly, you know, the morning after, they know at the back of their head that what they're doing must stop one day, one way or another. They either stop drinking and allow their body and their life to repair, or the alcohol will kill them. And there is this lurking thought at the back of their head, whether they're conscious of it or not, that one day what they're doing must stop, just like what you have done. This causes them immense psychological pain. So when you stop drinking, you effectively raise your standards and you cause them psychological pain. They're down here, you're up there. Now, of course, they don't label it like that. They don't go, "Ugh, John's made me have psychological pain." They just know that they feel uncomfortable. And they've got two options at this point. They can raise their standards to your level and the pain goes away, or much easier, because then they don't have to do anything, is they stay here and they try and pull you back down and the pain goes away. So you will find that people who you thought were your friends will try and trip you up. They will say things like, surely you can just have one, or don't be antisocial, just have one so that you don't make other people feel uncomfortable. Or they'll use whatever will work with you. Whatever chink in your armor you've got, they'll go for that. Because their objective here is to make the pain go away at all costs. In that moment, they don't care how bad you feel. They don't care how much of a bad decision this will be for you. They just want that discomfort to go away. And so they'll try and trip you up. And so the big question is, how do you deal with it? Well, the first thing to realize is that it's nothing personal. As nasty as it feels and sounds, they're not trying to be nasty to you. They're being selfish and they're unaware of it. They're just trying to make their own pain go away, and they don't particularly care that removing pain from themselves and giving it to you is going to be what happens. They just want to feel better about what they're doing. Now, the second point I'd like to make is when you stop drinking, you get a bit of a slap about the face and you realize that you don't have as many friends as you thought you did. You know, back when I was drinking, I think I had 2,000 friends on Facebook. I knew everyone. I knew everyone in town. And you know what it's like, you go out drinking and you meet someone, you go, hey, you've got Facebook? Yeah, great, add me. And before you know it, you've got all these hundreds and hundreds of people on your social media account you can't even remember, but you must have met them at some point. They must be a decent sort of guy or girl, so you've added them on Facebook. I better leave them there, don't want to offend them. Today, I think I have 108 friends on Facebook. It's come down from 2,000 because one day I went through and I went, all right, I'm just going to delete everyone I can't remember. And so when you're a drinker, you think you have this big social circle, you think you have all these friends, and what you discover when you stop drinking is, you know, most of them, you had nothing in common with them. And when you talk to them sober, when you hear them, you think, actually, I don't even like you. I don't like your views on that. That's racist. That's just wrong. And you start realizing all these people that you forgave for their views and their opinions and their quirks and their kinks because you were drunk are actually not very nice people. They don't connect with you. You have no resonance with them. And so you stop hanging out with them. And then you'll discover that people who you thought were your sworn best buddy, you know, would die for you, would fight for you, actually it was just the drink talking. And actually they only really care about what's in it for them. And you see that actually it was never really that good a friendship. And this might sound like a negative thing, you know, to stopping drinking, that you get this rude awakening, this slap about the face about your social circle, but it's not. It's not. Wouldn't you rather have a handful of really solid, good friends than a phone book full of people who don't care about you? I would rather have quality than quantity, wouldn't you? So that's the second thing, is you're going to have to slim down your network, because you're going to get a wake-up call that a lot of these people that you currently label friends are nothing of the sort. Now, the third point is, how do you deal with this? You're out with a bunch of your buddies and they're pressing you to drink. You've got a Coca-Cola in your hand, they're not happy, they're trying to get you to have just one drink. How do you deal with it? Well, I think the best way to deal with it is to just stop it dead. Because we tend to be too polite about this. We're a little bit embarrassed and a bit nervous that we no longer fit into the social situation, and so we make jokes or we make excuses. We say things like, oh yeah, I'll have one later, or I'm on antibiotics, I'm on tablets from the doctor, I can't drink at the moment, but I'll certainly be back on it. Or we say, I'm just taking a little break, I'm having a couple of days off. And all these excuses might get you out of the problem in the immediate moment, but in a few days' time, when your excuses come to an end, they're going to say, okay, you finished the tablets, now you can have a drink with us. Or you said you were doing a week, it's been more than a week, have a drink with us. You're just pushing the problem to another place. You've got to, in my experience, you've just got to stop it dead. Because if you're too nice about it, they'll push a little bit more. They'll push until you break. Your objective is to make them go, whoa, all right, step back, you know? So if they keep pushing you to drink, you say, stop asking me if I want a drink. Don't ask me again, I don't want one. And they'll be a bit shocked. They'll be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, you're in a mood. You know, they'll be a little bit affronted by it. But that's what you want, because you want it to be clear. You want it to be a line in the sand where they go, that's something we don't do. You don't want to laugh and joke about it in this moment, because they'll keep pushing you. And if you think about it, if you change the substance, imagine if you'd gone vegan and you'd gone through the pain of, you know, getting through those cravings to eat meat and missing out on things that you loved, like bacon sandwich and all this. And you've done this because you think it's the right thing to do. You've made a moral choice and you've decided, I'm a vegan. It's been difficult, but I've got there. How would you feel if then you went round to your friend's house and he kept pushing a sausage under your nose going, go on, just have one bite. Can't you just have one bite of sausage? Come on, just put on a leather jacket for 10 minutes. You wouldn't laugh and joke, would you? You'd be furious. You'd be like, stop doing that. And it's the same with alcohol. You have every right to be offended if someone tries to push alcohol on you. Think about it, change the drug. Imagine if you've just got off heroin. You finally made it off heroin. Life is finally getting back to normal. And your friend comes along and says, well, can't you just have a little bit of heroin? Wouldn't you be really offended? Wouldn't you be really, really insulted by the insensitivity of this asshole? There's no reason why you shouldn't feel the same about alcohol. It's a dangerous narcissistic drug. It kills 3 million people every year. Your decision to leave it behind is a good one. Have faith in what you've done and stick to it. I hope that helps. Listen, if you are worried about your drinking, I encourage you to do something, to take action. Don't just let this be something that nags you for the rest of your life. Go to my website, stopdrinkingexpert.com, and sign up for my free coaching session. I'll even give you a copy of my best-selling book, Alcohol Lied to Me, as a free gift just for turning up. Thank you for being with me today. See you in the next episode. And it's the only drug on planet Earth that when you get a problem with it, they blame you and not the drug. That doesn't happen with any other substance. If you think about it, cigarettes. You tell someone you're addicted to cigarettes, they don't go, oh, you dirty smokeaholic. You're a broken, weak-willed smokeaholic. You're going to be a smokeaholic for the rest of your life. They don't do that. They don't give you that label and say, well, that's it. You're broken forever now.
I really consider this because it's different. It's different to anything you can find out there, and it gives you real mental freedom from the clutches of alcohol.
I had an email about 6 months ago from a lady. She said, I was thinking about joining your course, but then I've just seen that red wine is good for your heart. How do you defend against that, Mr. Stop Drinking Expert?
It was in the reader's side.
Yeah, it must be true. I said, well, the defense against it is not true. And that's the biggest defense you can always have.